Hello and welcome back to another in-depth weather video. Today we are talking about subtropical storm Nicole, which is currently at maximum sustained winds of 45 miles per hour, minimum central pressure of 1,000 millibars, and is moving northwest at 9 miles per hour. Nicole is expected to near the Florida coast here within the next couple of days, potentially making landfall early morning Thursday morning as a hurricane. So let's go over the track of this storm with this cone here. The National Hurricane Center is predicting this storm to start off by going northwest, take this turn towards the west-southwest going into early Wednesday morning, then head through the Bahamas as a strong tropical storm, and then make landfall Thursday morning in Florida as a hurricane. After that, the storm will take a 270-degree turn through Florida and Georgia and head up towards the northeast before it goes post-tropical right around Delaware and Maryland up in the Delmarva Peninsula. So let's take a look at our arrival time of winds with wind speed probabilities turned on. And you can see that the Florida coast, especially areas right by Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach, currently have a 60 to 70% chance of receiving tropical storm force winds. Let's take a look at our key messages for this storm. We have 5 of them. Hurricane conditions and a dangerous storm surge are expected in portions of the northwestern Bahamas beginning Tuesday night, where a hurricane warning has been issued. Hurricane conditions are possible across portions of the coast of southeast and east central Florida beginning late Wednesday, where a hurricane watch is in effect. Tropical storm conditions are possible in the tropical storm watch areas in Florida and Georgia beginning by early Wednesday. A dangerous storm surge is possible across much of the east coast of Florida and portions of coastal Georgia. The storm surge will be accompanied by large and damaging waves. Do not focus on the exact track of Nicole, since it is expected to be a large storm with hazards extending well to the north of the center, outside of the forecast cone. These hazards are likely to affect much of the Florida Peninsula and portions of the southeast U.S. Nicole will produce heavy rainfall by Wednesday night and Thursday across the Florida Peninsula. Flash and urban flooding will be possible, along with river rises on portions of the St. Johns River. Let's go through here. Peak surge here, 3 to 5 feet from Altamaha Sound down to Hallandale Beach, and 1 to 2 feet from Ocean Reef to Hallandale Beach. Here is the rainfall potential over the next 3 days. You can see that Miami, Jacksonville, Tampa Bay in that around 2 to 4 inch area here, and Orlando is creeping up on that 4 to 6 inch range. And finally, our flash flooding potential here, we have these areas here from Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach up towards Orlando and the Space Coast, at least 15% chance of receiving a flash flood, exceeding flash flood guidance. And in the screen here, that is 5%. So here is subtropical storm Nicole on our satellite imagery. You can see here the storm is very small at the actual core of it, but the wider extent here of the storm extending all the way up to Bermuda. So here's our global hurricane models showing that pretty concise track. The GEFS, GEPS showing very similar tracks here. The only difference is when that turn will happen. Can the turn happen over Florida, or will it happen after this storm crosses into the Gulf of Mexico? That's the big difference here. The GEFS has the storm crossing into the Gulf of Mexico, while the GEPS, as well as the European model, have this storm staying over land as it makes that turn. Here's our intensity guidance here, showing the storm most likely at a strong tropical storm, but a few miles having it peaking out at a low Category 1 hurricane. So here's our HWRF hurricane model, and we can see here the storm does take that increasingly southern track makes landfall here on Thursday, and the HWRF has the storm making that turn over the Gulf of Mexico and eventually moving it up the eastern seaboard. So here is our projected wind speeds here, and as the storm nears the Floridian coastline, you can see that it does start to strengthen a bit into hurricane force with maximum sustained winds of about 70 knots, which is about 75 miles an hour. So, and after that, the storm makes another landfall in Florida, this time at a strong tropical storm, moves back out into the Atlantic as a weak tropical storm. And last but not least, let's take a look at our total accumulated precipitation. You can see that areas of Florida most likely going to receive over 2 inches of rainfall, if not some coastal areas closer to that 4 to 6 inch range. But that is all the information I have for this storm right now. I will post an update if anything changes, but at the moment this storm does look like it's going to be pretty impactful, even if it just remains a tropical storm. So if you live on the east coast of Florida, obviously this probably isn't your first rodeo with tropical systems, so take your normal precautions, and that's all I have for today. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.